Good evening all. We're about to start with adding reinforcement into this slab we just dimensioned, and I'll show you how to do that now. Let me just close this thing here so we've only got one thing going. Alright, so this is the step we're going to take at reinforcement. We're going to go to the view tab and we're going to create a couple of sections. Not necessarily we're going to use the actual sections, but we're going to need them for viewing, making sure the reinforcement goes in the right spot and that sort of thing. And also we're going to make a call out, which is basically a blow up view of one part of the footing. So moving ahead, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to do a little call out in the end that looks a bit like that. Alright, so that's the plan for this recording. Alright, bit of mesh, a few ligatures and that sort of thing inputted. Alright, okay, so let's go and put these east, west and north, or north, south, east, west, whichever way you want to do it. Let's do that now. Okay, this is the there's a shortcut to the section. If you've got the quick access toolbar, that's a section command. But as I said before, you could go to the view and there's a section here as well. Alright, click that. Alright, whichever one you want to do first, doesn't matter. Let's just drop that about there somewhere. Alright, that didn't work. Let's try another click. That worked. And let's pick it up again. Drop one in here somewhere. Perfect. Alright, so we've got our two sections. They would have appeared somewhere in here. There they are. Alright, that's what they're called now. Alright. Okay, so we did that. We don't have to rename them yet. At this point, we should be right. Okay, so step number 2, it says pre-select the slab. You might need to use the filter command. Okay, so let's do that. I'll make sure there's no commands active, and what we'll do is just select everything like that. And then we're going to go down to the filter here, or you can use this one up here. All right. Notice it says there's 16 things that have been selected. We're going to check none. And we're going to leave just the floors checked, which is only one thing, as it says there, which is good. Okay, that's where you want to be, one slab, you don't want too many. Alright, so once we do that, it gives us this little command here that just pops up. Alright, we're going to use that. What we're going to put is actually add a mesh, so we're on step number 3 now. So we're going to click the area command, that one there. Now this here wasn't appearing last year, I don't think, and it's not in your notes actually, this little pop-up note, but it has no effect if we just go OK to it. Alright, so just go OK to that. Alright, what he wants us to do basically, and I'll just flick over here, so basically did our filtering, we hit the command, that note came up which is not listed here, and now we're in this thing here. We're about to do some sketching. There's a few little things we want to check and uncheck here. And then we're on our way. So let's go here. So basically what we want to do is make sure we're using lines because we're going to sketch them. And then down here, because we're putting basically we're putting a mesh, by default the mesh can be put on the top, near the top of the slab and also near the bottom. So there's 2 layers of it by default. So we just want one layer, the top layer, and we're just going to switch off the bottom layer. So that's what that step 4 is in your notes. I think it is step 4. Step 4. Right. So what we're going to do here, this refers to the top major direction. All right. Top minor direction, and then bottom major we turn off. So make sure you get the right one, and then we get the bottom minor. Because it's crisscrossing, one's called a minor, the other one's a major. So that's it. That's what makes the mesh on the bottom, and we'll get rid of it. Alright, so that's gone. Now what we're going to do is just zoom in here, and we're basically going to sketch around where we want to have this mesh. So it's basically at the rebate level here. Alright, and these meshes and ligatures and whatever else we're going to put in today, and bars, they all have a pre-programmed sort of cover, what they call cover, so that the mesh or the steel work doesn't go too close to the edge, and therefore it can rust. So it has that information pre-programmed in, and you can go in and change it as well. We're not going to muck around with that. It's that's fine the way it is. It's usually about 25 millimeters in from the top. All right, so that's that there. It says here, for example, is another thing you could change. The spacing of it is 300 millimeters apart. I didn't specify to change it, but if your mesh is 200 millimeters apart, you can change that number there. All right, so that will be this number here. All right, easy. So a lot of little things like that you can check in doing this thing. All right. All right. And of course, all along we've been drawing a new construction. This we haven't really touched. It's called phasing. We're coming up with that. Is it existing, new, demolished? That option is not there. All right. So there you go. That's that. Now we'll just hit the tick. Now, before we hit the tick, it doesn't really matter. We're only just putting a mesh in, so it doesn't really matter. It sort of has a span direction, but it doesn't really make any sense for a mesh, because a mesh is a square thing, so it doesn't matter. But it did put this directional thing here. It doesn't really matter if yours goes the other way, but you can change the direction by using this command if you really want to, and then selecting the line you want it to run against. All right, so that's tick there. All right, so there we go. If we go over it, you can see the mesh sort of forming. First of all here, I'm picking up probably the major or the minor, and then the other way picking the other one. All right, there. Okay, so it is an R6. It was already built in. I didn't tell you to change any of that, I don't think, so we're good to go with that, whatever it is. Now, it does say for a minute to just, on step 5, to just turn off your hidden view to wireframe, and then you can see the mesh in here. And it did put that note in there as well. That tag came in automatically with it. All right. So, and it's just to see that we've got it in there really. All right. That's about it for that one there. All right. So it says to set it back again to wireframe. Don't really want to see it. We're only putting this in. Oops, not wireframe. Hidden. We're only putting all this stuff in for really. So when we look at the section, it appears on the section. For one, so it saves us having to draw it as you would draw it in AutoCAD, just 2D stuff, right? So, and it is also building up the detail in our drawing, so that it's becoming. If we talk about level of detail, this drawing now is going to become more like a level of detail 350 odd. 300 is the norm. The more you put in there, shop drawings are about 400, level 400 of detail. And you hear the terminology LOD, level of detail. That's very common terminology in Revit world or in BIM world. All right. So that's what we're doing. We're making our life easier to take sections through for one, and two, we're adding quantities into it. So the quantity surveyor will love you as well. All right. So that's that. Okay. So let's go back into step 6.